In the heart of London town, there existed a great house, grand and imposing, whispering tales of wealth and legacy. Within its hallowed halls, a life of privilege unfolded, untouched by the grime and struggles of the city beyond its high walls. But behind the grandeur, secrets bloomed like weeds in the cracks of marble, and the lives of those unseen held stories as compelling as any lived within the gilded cage of luxury. Among them were two women, Amelia and Clara, whose paths intertwined in the most unexpected of places, the sprawling gardens behind the mansion. Their love, a delicate wildflower amidst the thorns of societal constraints. Amelia had been born with a spirit as bright as the stars, but life had dealt her a hand that dimmed its sparkle. At 22, she was already seasoned by the world, her youth traded for the harsh currency of experience. 6 months prior, she had become the newest servant in the grand house, her days a monotonous routine of polishing silver until it gleamed like a mirror, pressing linen until it lay as smooth as silk, and anticipating the mistress's whims with unfailing attentiveness. It was a life devoid of laughter, where smiles were measured and eyes were trained to look down and listen only to the sharp commands echoing from the upper floors. Yet, Amelia possessed a resilience forged in the fires of life's early hardships. She had learned the art of enduring without complaint, of holding her head high despite the burdens placed upon her shoulders. In the tapestry of the mansion's grand life, she was merely an unnoticed thread, her presence felt, but her essence unseen. And then there was Clara, the gardener's daughter, whose roots ran deep in the very soil she tended. Unlike Amelia, she had never known the suffocating embrace of a life confined by walls. Her world was the boundless expanse of the sky meeting the horizon, her solace in the whispers of the wind through the leaves, and her joy in the silent language of flowers. Her hands, perpetually stained with earth, were a testament to a life lived in harmony with nature, her callous fingers speaking a story of honest labor and quiet dignity. Her father, the retired gardener, had held court in these gardens for decades, his wisdom entwined with the growth of each rose, his laughter echoing in the rustling of autumn leaves. Now, Clara carried on his legacy, her connection to the land as profound as the roots that anchored the ancient oak at the gardener's heart. She understood the soul of a flower, the patience required to coax life from the earth, and the solace that bloomed in the quiet communion with nature. Their lives were a study in contrast, yet fate, in its whimsical design, had woven their paths together in the very sanctuary that cradled their differences. The garden was their refuge, a realm where the rigid confines of class and station softened, if only for a while, and where the language of love blossomed in the most unlikely of whispers. It all began on a crisp morning as the dew kissed the petals and the sun stretched its golden fingers through the leaves. Amelia, seeking respite from the stifling confines of the mansion, had stepped into the garden, a basket of freshly laundered linens in her arms. As she hummed a tuneless melody, lost in the symphony of birdsong and rustling leaves, she hadn't noticed Clara approaching. "That's a beautiful song," a voice broke through Amelia's reverie. Startled, she turned to find Clara standing before her, her eyes shining with amusement and a hint of something deeper that neither girl was yet ready to name. The encounter, brief and innocent as it was, planted a seed of curiosity that soon sprouted into something more. Days turned into weeks, and their paths continued to cross in the sanctuary of the garden. Stolen glances became shared smiles, hesitant nods evolved into warm greetings, and those moments of stolen joy blossomed into something akin to friendship. The garden, with its fragrant blooms and verdant foliage, bore witness to their budding bond. It was during one such meeting that the boundaries of their camaraderie blurred. Amelia, her cheeks flushed from the exertion of her chores, had sought the shade of a gnarled oak. Clara, noticing her companion's flushed face and troubled breath, had brought her a glass of water. "Are you all right?" she asked, concern evident in her voice. As Amelia took the proffered glass, their fingers brushed, and in that fleeting moment, a jolt of awareness shot through Amelia, electrifying her senses and setting her heart aflame. She looked up into Clara's eyes, searching for an answer to the turmoil that suddenly filled her chest. It was Clara who first dared to bridge the chasm of unspoken emotions. Her touch, as gentle as the caress of a summer breeze, sent shivers down Amelia's spine. And in that hushed sanctuary surrounded by whispering roses, their lips met in a kiss as tender and fragile as the first bloom of spring. Theirs was a love story whispered by the petals of roses, etched in the veins of leaves, and resonated in the ancient heartwood of the old oak. Their tryst remained a secret, shielded by the leafy canopy and guarded by the rustling trees. The mansion with its prying eyes and uncaring heart knew nothing of the blossoming love that defied its rigid walls. In the quiet companionship of the garden, Amelia found a solace she had never known. Their love, though tinged with the bitterness of stolen moments, was a sweet nectar that sustained her through the drudgery of her days. Clara, with her untamed spirit and earthy charm, became the anchor that steadied Amelia's wavering resolve. And in the depths of Amelia's heart, a flicker of hope rekindled, nurtured by the promise of a love that transcended the boundaries of their circumstances. Yet their idyllic sanctuary was not to remain undisturbed forever. The walls of the grand house had ears and tongues of their own. Whispers slithered through the corridors like serpents, hissing tales of impropriety and scandal. The strict mistress, a woman whose heart knew no warmth and whose eyes missed nothing, grew suspicious. Amelia, acutely aware of her precarious position, tried to pull away, fearing the tempest that threatened to engulf them both. But Clara, emboldened by the depth of her affection, refused to let go. In a daring act of defiance against the unyielding walls of societal norms, Clara confronted the mistress, demanding recognition of their love. The ensuing confrontation shook the foundations of the grand house, sending tremors of shock and disbelief through its inhabitants. The mistress, faced with undeniable proof of her gardener's daughter's accusations, was left with no choice but to relent. As the news spread through the mansion like wildfire, it brought forth a wave of change that no one had anticipated. The rigid hierarchy that had defined life within those grand walls began to crumble, revealing a dawning realization that love, in its most genuine form, knows no bounds. In the aftermath of this revelation, the dynamics of the household underwent a seismic shift. Those who had once looked down upon Amelia and Clara now saw them in a new light, their love becoming a catalyst for empathy and understanding. The mansion, once a symbol of societal constraints and unyielding traditions, started to echo with newfound freedoms. The love between Amelia and Clara had cracked open the hardened hearts of many, allowing compassion and kindness to bloom where indifference had once thrived. As for Amelia and Clara, their love story became a beacon, illuminating the path for others who dared to dream of love beyond the confines of societal norms. Their journey, marked by resilience, courage, and an unwavering commitment to each other, served as a testament to the enduring power of genuine love. Hand in hand, they stepped into the dawn of a new day, leaving behind the shadows of the past and embracing the promise of a future where their love story would continue to inspire and captivate all who heard its tale. And so, the tale of their love echoed through the halls of the grand house, carried on the wings of the wind, whispering to all who listened that love, when true, has the power to conquer all.